My name is Jeff Kerber from Emmitsburg, Iowa, and I was the second person to win 4 state titles in a row. I started wrestling in about 3rd grade. I'm old enough that nowadays they start in kindergarten, but I started in about 3rd grade. We had a local league here, and of course once I got to be in 4th and 5th grade, we started to venture out and go a little further, and of course there weren't near as many little kid tournaments then, so you had to kind of go looking for them, and we went to Harlan, Iowa, and Glenwood, Iowa, and kind of that Council Bluffs, Omaha area was a lot bigger in wrestling. And then once we kind of got that mastered, then we started to look at Tulsa and places like that. I actually think we were maybe some of the first people from Iowa to venture down to the Tulsa Nationals, which now, everybody goes. But back then that was unusual, and so yeah, I was one of the first ones from here to go there. The biggest growth that I had was in the summers, because a lot of kids were playing Little League baseball and that type of thing, and I just loved wrestling, and so I would spend my whole summer going to camp and wrestling, and that's very common today. It was not common in my day. I think for kids to achieve great success at high school and at college, they have to have some foundational, fundamental, systematic way of learning wrestling at a pretty high level. Because if you drag your feet and if you wait until junior high to compete or whatever it is, then you just go out and get hammered, and the kids lose their confidence, and that's the one extreme. The other extreme is you start a kid in kindergarten, and he's going every week, and by the time he gets to high school, he says, man, I wouldn't mind doing something else on a weekend, and so somehow it's finding that balance, and the parents have to figure that out. Every kid is different, but little kid wrestling is just critical. You can't get by without it anymore, whereas maybe in my era you could. If you had a kid that was a stud athlete, he would make the adjustments in 8th grade or 9th grade. Now it's tough to make those adjustments because the kids are just so good. You play basketball and you play football and you play hockey, you don't play wrestle. I get a kick out of these little kids because when I'm coaching little kids, I'll have a kid and be coaching him, and he'll be looking at me, and I'll be telling him, go out there and have fun, and he'll be all, yeah, having fun, and then he turns around and he sees the kid he's going to wrestle, and it's like the smile goes away. It's me against you, man. It's war. This is personal. It's me against you. And that's the difference to me in wrestling and anything I know of, and I'm sure there's other things. There's boxing and whatnot, but for me, that personal, it's just you thing can translate, big into life. I think when families are faced with, a crisis or a cancer or whatever it is, I do believe that wrestling, not in and of itself, but that sort of tough, when you get your nose bloodied, you don't quit. That sort of attitude translates into life. And I think that in life, we're faced with all sorts of wrestling matches where, sometimes we get our nose bloodied. My name is Jeff Kerber. I was the second 4-time state champion.